Hello, I'm SA, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
A stark tableau unfolds Abd-al-Latif al-Baghdadi amidst a colossal ossuary outside Cairo, circa 1200 CE, meticulously examines over 2,000 human skulls. This scene, a potent visual metaphor, encapsulates the essence of his intellectual journey or relentless pursuit of empirical verification, a stark departure from the prevailing scholastic reliance on inherited texts. His early life, however, unfolded within the vibrant intellectual crucible of Baghdad, a city then at the zenith of its scholarly influence. There, he immersed himself in the vast, yet often fragmented, corpus of Greek and Islamic learning, a body of knowledge brimming with potential, yet hampered by inconsistencies and a lack of systematic integration. Al-Baghdadi's initial contribution was not one of groundbreaking innovation, but a masterful act of synthesis. He approached this monumental task with a rigorous, systematic methodology, meticulously studying and distilling the dominant philosophical systems of his time. His early works showcase this approach, commentaries and abridgments that demonstrate a deep understanding of Aristotle's corpus, clarifying complex arguments and highlighting key themes. These were not mere summaries, they were sophisticated exercises in intellectual organization and clarification, laying the groundwork for his later, more critical engagements with established knowledge. Central to his intellectual formation was a profound influence of Avicenna ibn Sina. Al-Farabi's philosophical contributions undoubtedly played a role, but Avicenna's monumental canon of medicine and philosophical treatises formed the bedrock of al-Baghdadi's early scholastic development. He absorbed Avicenna's systematic approach to philosophy and medicine, mastering the complex framework before engaging in his own critical examination. This deep engagement with Avicenna's work is evident in al-Baghdadi's early writings, which often build upon, expand, or clarify specific Avicennan concepts. For example, his commentary on Avicenna's metaphysics elucidates intricate arguments concerning the nature of existence and causality, demonstrating a thorough understanding of Avicenna's system while adding his own insightful interpretations. Al-Baghdadi's approach to learning was fundamentally scholastic. He sought to understand the existing body of knowledge in its entirety, mastering the dominant intellectual frameworks before venturing into independent inquiry. This commitment to systematic study is reflected in his rigorous organization of his own writings, often structured as detailed commentaries or comprehensive syntheses of existing texts. He did not dismiss the intellectual heritage he inherited. Rather, he sought to refine, clarify, and systematize it, creating a more coherent and accessible body of knowledge for future scholars. His method involved careful textual analysis, comparing and contrasting different interpretations of key concepts, and resolving inconsistencies where possible. This careful, painstaking approach allowed him to identify areas of ambiguity or contradiction within the existing literature, laying the foundation for his later empirical investigations. His early works demonstrate a deep engagement with the intricacies of Aristotelian logic and metaphysics, as well as Avicenna's synthesis of Aristotelian and Islamic thought. He excelled at clarifying complex philosophical arguments, making them more accessible to a wider audience while maintaining intellectual rigor. The scholarly environment of late 12th century Baghdad profoundly shaped al-Baghdadi's intellectual trajectory. The city was a vibrant center of learning, home to numerous scholars and institutions dedicated to the preservation and advancement of knowledge. This environment fostered intense intellectual exchange and debate, encouraging a critical and rigorous approach to scholarship. Al-Baghdadi's early works reflect this environment, demonstrating a keen awareness of the range of philosophical and scientific viewpoints prevalent in his time. He actively engaged with the existing intellectual traditions, but he did so with a discerning eye, carefully weighing the strengths and weaknesses of different perspectives. His early contributions were not simply acts of passive assimilation, they were active engagements with the intellectual landscape of his time, laying the foundation for his subsequent groundbreaking empirical work in Egypt. This period of intense study and synthesis was crucial, providing him with the necessary intellectual tools and foundational knowledge to embark on his transformative investigations into human anatomy, a journey that would significantly alter the course of medical history. The meticulous groundwork laid in Baghdad through systematic study and synthesis of existing knowledge would prove indispensable in his later, more revolutionary endeavors. His mastery of Avicenna's system, in particular, provided a framework upon which he would later build his own unique and empirically grounded contributions. Al-Baghdadi's intellectual journey, firmly rooted in the scholastic traditions of Baghdad, took a decisive turn during his extended sojourn in Egypt. It was there, amidst the stark realities of a society grappling with famine and ecological disaster, that he embarked on a path of empirical investigation that would challenge established medical dogma. His most significant anatomical contributions stemmed from a profound dissatisfaction with the received wisdom of Galen, whose anatomical descriptions, while foundational, were largely based on animal dissections, primarily of the Barbary ape. These descriptions, accepted for over a millennium, were often inaccurate when applied to human anatomy. The problem al-Baghdadi confronted was the unquestioning adherence to Galenic anatomy, despite its demonstrable discrepancies with human skeletal structure. His solution, radical for its time, was a direct study of human remains through autopsy and osteological analysis. This approach, largely avoided due to cultural and religious sensitivities, allowed him to directly observe and document the anatomical realities of the human body, independent of the assumptions and extrapolations derived from animal models. His methodology was characterized by systematic, comparative observation. A pivotal opportunity arose during a severe famine in Egypt around 182-1 CE. The famine, exacerbated by a low Nile flood, resulted in mass starvation and death, leading to the creation of mass graves. These graves provided al-Baghdadi with a unique, albeit grim, opportunity to study human skeletal remains in unprecedented detail. He meticulously examined these remains, comparing his observations with Galen's descriptions, identifying discrepancies, and formulating his own empirically based anatomical conclusions. A specific, tangible example of his groundbreaking work is found in his book, Kitab al-Ifadah, or the Book of Instruction and Admonition. Within this comprehensive work, he detailed his anatomical findings, directly challenging and correcting two major errors perpetuated by Galen. The first concerned the mandible, or lower jawbone. Galen had asserted that the human mandible was composed of two separate bones, a misconception stemming from his dissections of animals whose mandibles do indeed exhibit such a structure. Al-Baghdadi, through his direct examination of numerous human mandibles, definitively proved that it is a single, unified bone. He meticulously documented the bony structure, demonstrating the seamless fusion of the two halves in humans, a feature consistently absent in the animals Galen had studied. The second significant correction involved the sacrum, the triangular bone at the base of the spine. Galen's description of the sacrum's formation and sutures was inaccurate, again due to his reliance on animal models. Al-Baghdadi, through careful observation of human sacrae, provided a correct and detailed account of its structure, including the number of vertebrae that fuse to form it and the precise configuration of its articular surfaces. He carefully delineated the subtle anatomical features that distinguished the human sacrum, providing a level of detail absent in Galen's work. This precise description allowed for a more accurate understanding of the biomechanics of the human pelvis and its role in locomotion. Al-Baghdadi's anatomical work, while revolutionary in its methodology and conclusions, was deeply informed by the intellectual tradition that preceded him. Galen himself served as a primary influence, not as an infallible authority, but as a source of hypotheses to be tested and refined through empirical observation. Al-Baghdadi engaged critically with Galen's texts, meticulously comparing Galen's descriptions with his own observations and fearlessly challenging those descriptions that failed to align with empirical reality. This critical engagement with the towering figure of medical history demonstrates al-Baghdadi's intellectual independence and his commitment to empirical verification. The immediate influence of al-Baghdadi's anatomical work appears to have been largely confined to his proximate intellectual environment in Cairo. While his Kitab al-Ifadah circulated among scholars and physicians in the region, its impact on the broader development of anatomy in Europe was limited. This was primarily due to the delayed transmission of his work to the West. Although figures like Ibn al-Nafis, who notably challenged Galen's understanding of pulmonary circulation, were working in a similar intellectual milieu, attributing direct influence is difficult. The spirit of empirical inquiry that characterized al-Baghdadi's work likely contributed to a broader atmosphere of critical engagement with established medical authorities, but definitive evidence of direct, person-to-person influence remains scarce. The lack of immediate widespread dissemination should not diminish the significance of al-Baghdadi's contributions. His emphasis on direct observation and empirical verification represented a crucial step forward in the development of anatomical science. He demonstrated the importance of questioning established authority and of grounding medical knowledge in direct experience. His meticulous dissections and detailed descriptions provided a more accurate understanding of human anatomy, correcting long-standing errors and paving the way for future advancements in the field. The enduring value of his work lies in its methodological rigor and its unwavering commitment to empirical truth, a commitment that continues to inspire scientists and medical professionals to this day. He championed a method of inquiry that valued direct observation over blind acceptance of received wisdom, a principle that resonates deeply within the scientific ethos. This approach, emphasizing empirical validation, remains a cornerstone of scientific progress. His work stands as a testament to the power of observation and the importance of challenging established dogma in the pursuit of scientific understanding. Al-Baghdadi's anatomical investigations, undertaken amidst the backdrop of societal crisis, underscore the interconnectedness of scientific inquiry and the human condition. His willingness to confront established medical authority, coupled with his commitment to meticulous observation, marked a turning point in the history of anatomical science. The legacy of al-Baghdadi's work extends beyond the specific anatomical corrections he made. His most profound contribution resides in his championing of empirical methodology, his insistence on verifying received knowledge through direct observation and dissection. This emphasis on empirical validation, a cornerstone of modern scientific inquiry, remains his most enduring contribution, inspiring generations of scientists and medical professionals to prioritize evidence-based understanding over blind adherence to tradition. His work serves as a powerful reminder that scientific progress often requires a willingness to challenge established paradigms and to embrace the sometimes uncomfortable truths revealed through rigorous empirical investigation. Al-Baghdadi's willingness to question Galen, the undisputed authority of his time, exemplifies the spirit of scientific inquiry at its finest. His anatomical insights, gained through direct observation and meticulous analysis, stand as a testament to the power of empirical investigation. The impact of al-Baghdadi's work resonates even today, reminding us of the importance of critical thinking and the pursuit of knowledge based on verifiable evidence. His legacy endures as a beacon of scientific integrity and a powerful affirmation of the transformative potential of empirical inquiry. Al-Baghdadi's anatomical investigations, born from a desire to understand the human body with greater accuracy, represent a pivotal moment in the history of medicine. His groundbreaking work serves as an inspiration to all who seek to advance our understanding of the natural world through rigorous observation and critical analysis. Al-Baghdadi's intellectual curiosity extended far beyond the confines of the dissecting room. His keen observational skills and analytical mind found perhaps their most compelling expression in his eyewitness account of the devastating Egyptian famine during the late 12th century. This catastrophe, triggered by an unusually low Nile flood, became the subject of his masterpiece, Kitab al-Ifadah, a work that transcends mere historical chronicle to become a profound study in applied science and proto-sociology. The problem al-Baghdadi confronted was how to comprehensively document and understand a large-scale ecological and societal collapse. Previous accounts of similar events often relied on anecdotal evidence or lacked a systematic approach. Al-Baghdadi, however, sought to create a holistic record, one that integrated environmental data, economic indicators, medical observations, and sociological analysis. His solution was a multifaceted empirical methodology. It required meticulous data collection and first-person reportage. He immersed himself in the unfolding tragedy, meticulously documenting the unfolding crisis and its impact on the population. He personally witnessed the devastation, recording his observations with a scientist's eye for detail and a humanist's concern for human suffering. Specific examples of al-Baghdadi's documented data provide a chillingly vivid picture of the famine's progression. He recorded precise measurements of the Nile's water levels, noting the dramatic shortfall that initiated the crisis. These figures, while seemingly simple, provide a crucial context for understanding the scale of the environmental disaster. He also tracked the fluctuating market prices of essential goods, charting the relentless inflation that priced food beyond the reach of ordinary citizens. His economic observations offer a glimpse into the mechanisms by which scarcity translates into widespread deprivation. Al-Baghdadi did not limit his analysis to environmental and economic factors. He also meticulously documented the resultant epidemics that swept through the weakened population. He described the symptoms of various diseases, attempting to understand their spread and impact. These observations, though lacking the benefit of modern germ theory, represent an early form of historical epidemiology. He noted changes in animal behavior, a keen observation reflecting his understanding of ecological interconnectedness. He wrote of desperate people consuming things they normally would not. Perhaps most disturbingly, al-Baghdadi provided harrowing, objective descriptions of societal breakdown. He chronicled the rise in crime, the collapse of social order, and the descent into desperation. His account includes reports of cannibalism, a grim testament to the extreme conditions endured by the famine's victims. These passages, while difficult to read, are crucial for understanding the full scope of the disaster. Kitab al-Ifadah stands as a primary source for understanding this devastating event. Its value lies not only in its detailed descriptions, but also in its systematic approach to documenting a complex crisis. Al-Baghdadi's work offers invaluable insights into the interplay between environment, economy, and public health. The relevance of al-Baghdadi's work extends far beyond its historical context. It serves as a compelling model for historical epidemiology and the study of the complex relationship between environment, economy, and public health. His approach prefigures modern methods of disaster documentation and analysis. Researchers studying famines, epidemics, or other large-scale crises can learn from al-Baghdadi's example of meticulous observation, systematic data collection, and multidisciplinary analysis. Al-Baghdadi's work, while unique in its comprehensive approach, built upon earlier traditions of historical and geographical writing within the Islamic world. Historians such as al-Tabari and al-Masudi had previously emphasized the importance of detailed observation and eyewitness accounts in their chronicles. Geographers such as al-Muqaddasi had combined geographical descriptions with social and economic observations. Al-Baghdadi synthesized these traditions, applying them to the specific context of an ecological disaster. The writings of Galen also influenced al-Baghdadi's medical observations, providing a framework for understanding disease and its impact on the human body. The direct influence of al-Baghdadi's Kitab al-Ifadah al-Baghdadi on subsequent scholars is difficult to trace definitively, owing to the vagaries of manuscript transmission and the challenges of cross-cultural intellectual exchange. However, his work was undoubtedly consulted by later historians and medical writers in the region. Its detailed descriptions and analytical approach likely informed their understanding of similar crises. The book's enduring value as a primary source has ensured its continued relevance to scholars studying the history of Egypt and the history of famines. Modern scholars, such as Michael Dawes, in his work on medieval Islamic medicine, have drawn upon al-Baghdadi's observations to understand the impact of environmental factors on public health. Al-Baghdadi's account serves as a powerful reminder of the fragility of human societies in the face of ecological challenges. His meticulous documentation of the Egyptian famine offers invaluable lessons for understanding and responding to contemporary crises. The book is a testament to the power of scientific observation, rigorous analysis, and compassionate engagement with human suffering. It is a work that deserves continued attention and study. It reveals the interconnectedness of ecological, economic, and social systems. It highlights the importance of proactive measures to mitigate the impact of environmental disasters. It underscores the enduring relevance of empirical inquiry for understanding and addressing complex challenges. The book stands as a monument to the power of human observation during times of crisis. Al-Baghdadi's Egyptian Chronicle is a powerful testament to the enduring value of careful observation during times of societal upheaval. It also points toward a significant shift in his intellectual trajectory, a turn away from speculative philosophy toward a more grounded Aristotelian empiricism. This philosophical reorientation, while perhaps less widely recognized in his anatomical work, represents a crucial dimension of his intellectual project. It reveals a mind grappling with the limitations of prevailing scientific and philosophical paradigms. The problem, as al-Baghdadi perceived it, lay in the unchecked speculation permeating Avicennan Neoplatonism and the demonstrably false claims advanced by alchemists. He saw in these intellectual currents a dangerous departure from the foundational principles of empirical inquiry. He sought a remedy in a rigorous return to the original sources of Aristotelian thought, unfiltered by what he considered to be later accretions and misinterpretations. His solution was a principled commitment to direct observation and logical analysis. He believed that genuine knowledge could only be attained through careful examination of the natural world and a critical evaluation of existing theories. This approach is evident in his critique of alchemy, a field then enjoying considerable patronage and influence. Al-Baghdadi authored, though it is now lost to us, a work titled Two Books on the Refutation of Alchemy. In this treatise, he challenged the very theoretical possibility of transmutation, the alchemist's central claim. He argued that the purported transformations of base metals into gold lacked any sound empirical basis and rested instead on unsubstantiated claims and deceptive practices. His attack was not simply a dismissal of specific alchemical procedures. It was a fundamental challenge to the underlying metaphysical assumptions that justified such practices. He questioned the idea that the essential properties of substances could be arbitrarily altered, arguing that such a notion contradicted the established principles of Aristotelian physics. More broadly, al-Baghdadi took aim at Avicenna's influential synthesis of Aristotelian logic with Neoplatonic concepts of emanation. Avicenna had sought to reconcile Aristotelian philosophy with Islamic theology, creating a comprehensive system that explained the origin and structure of the universe. Al-Baghdadi, however, believed that Avicenna had strayed too far from the observational roots of Aristotelian thought. He argued that Avicenna's concept of emanation, in which the universe unfolds from a single divine source through a series of intermediary intelligences, lacked any direct empirical support. He saw it as an unwarranted intrusion of speculative metaphysics into a domain that ought to be governed by observation and reason. Al-Baghdadi's approach represents a significant departure from the dominant intellectual trends of his time. While many scholars in the Islamic world embraced Avicenna's synthesis, he advocated for a more critical and independent engagement with the Aristotelian corpus. He insisted on the importance of verifying philosophical claims through direct observation and logical analysis, rather than accepting them on the basis of authority or tradition. The direct influence on al-Baghdadi's philosophical shift was a renewed and intensive engagement with Aristotle's original texts. He moved beyond the interpretations and commentaries of Avicenna and other later thinkers, seeking to recover what he believed to be the authentic spirit of Aristotelian empiricism. He meticulously studied Aristotle's works on logic, physics, and metaphysics, paying close attention to the philosopher's emphasis on observation, classification, and inductive reasoning. This close reading of Aristotle allowed him to identify what he perceived as inconsistencies and unwarranted assumptions in Avicenna's synthesis. Al-Baghdadi's critique of Avicennan Neoplatonism resonated with other scholars in the Islamic East who shared his concerns about the excessive speculation and reliance on authority within the prevailing intellectual culture. Figures such as Fakhr al-Din al-Razi, while differing from al-Baghdadi in certain respects, also expressed reservations about Avicenna's synthesis and advocated for a more critical and independent approach to philosophical inquiry. This represented a significant intellectual countercurrent, challenging the dominance of Avicennan thought and paving the way for new directions in Islamic philosophy. The impact of al-Baghdadi's philosophical turn extends beyond his specific criticisms of alchemy and Avicennan metaphysics. It reflects a broader commitment to intellectual rigor and empirical verification, a commitment that shaped his approach to all areas of inquiry. His emphasis on direct observation and logical analysis can be seen in his anatomical investigations, his geographical studies, and his observations of social and economic conditions in Egypt. This unifying thread of empirical inquiry connects his diverse intellectual pursuits and reveals a coherent intellectual project. His philosophical stance also informs his understanding of the relationship between reason and revelation. While he was a devout Muslim, he believed that reason and observation were essential tools for understanding God's creation. He saw no inherent conflict between scientific inquiry and religious faith, arguing that the study of nature could lead to a deeper appreciation of God's wisdom and power. This perspective aligns with a long tradition of Islamic intellectual thought that sought to integrate reason and revelation, but al-Baghdadi's emphasis on empirical verification provided a distinctive contribution to this tradition. His philosophical contributions, although less celebrated than his medical insights, are crucial for understanding the full scope of his intellectual achievements. They demonstrate his commitment to empirical inquiry, his critical engagement with prevailing intellectual trends, and his enduring legacy as a champion of reason and observation in the pursuit of knowledge. His lost treatise on alchemy, while unavailable to us, remains a testament to his intellectual courage and his unwavering commitment to empirical verification. His influence on subsequent scholars who question the Avicennan synthesis underscores a significant role in shaping the intellectual landscape of the Islamic world. He challenged the uncritical acceptance of authority and advocated for a more rigorous and independent approach to philosophical inquiry. His work serves as a reminder of the importance of questioning assumptions, verifying claims, and grounding knowledge in direct observation of the natural world. It is a legacy that continues to resonate with scholars and thinkers today. Following his time in Egypt, Abd-al-Latif al-Baghdadi journeyed onward, eventually finding himself in Damascus and Aleppo. These later years saw him continue his scholarly pursuits, solidifying his reputation as a physician, a philosopher, and a keen observer of the natural world. The movement from one center of learning to another was common among scholars of the era, a testament to the interconnectedness of the Islamic intellectual world and the value placed on cross-pollination of ideas. It is impossible to provide a complete account of al-Baghdadi's influence without acknowledging the fragmented nature of its transmission. His most significant anatomical work, Kitab al-Ifadah al-Itibar fi al-Umar al-Mushahadar al-Hawadith al-Mayanar, or Book of Instruction and Admonition on Matters Observed and Events Witnessed, remained largely unknown to European scholars for centuries. Edward Pocock's 17th century Latin translation came too late to have a direct impact on the burgeoning anatomical revolution occurring in Europe. Figures like Vesalius and Harvey, who revolutionized the understanding of the human body, proceeded largely unaware of al-Baghdadi's meticulous corrections of Galen. This delayed recognition underscores the complex pathways through which knowledge travels across cultures and the vagaries of historical circumstance. The absence of an earlier translation does diminish the potential for more rapid correction of the anatomical errors in Europe, and yet it does nothing to diminish the importance of al-Baghdadi's contribution within the Islamic world and its value as a testament to the power of empirical observation. To label al-Baghdadi as simply a forerunner of later scientific developments is to misunderstand the essence of his intellectual project. His life's work represents a cohesive whole, driven by a singular, unwavering commitment to rigorous inquiry. His critique of Galen's anatomy and his critique of Avicenna's metaphysics were not separate, isolated endeavors, but rather two fronts in the same intellectual battle. This battle was waged against the uncritical acceptance of authority, against the perpetuation of errors perpetuated by those who came before. The central focus of al-Baghdadi's career was the championing of tahqiq, a concept encompassing verification, scrutiny, and the pursuit of certainty through direct experience. He consistently emphasized the importance of empirical observation over received textual tradition, regardless of the domain, whether science or philosophy. This commitment to tahqiq is what binds together his diverse intellectual pursuits, from his meticulous anatomical investigations to his challenges to Avicennan metaphysics. Consider, for instance, his anatomical work. Al-Baghdadi's detailed observations of human skeletons allowed him to identify numerous inaccuracies in Galen's descriptions. Galen, relying primarily on animal dissections, and made claims about human anatomy that simply didn't hold true when examined against human remains. Al-Baghdadi, through meticulous observation and comparison, corrected these errors, providing a more accurate depiction of the human skeletal structure. This was empirical observation in action, a direct challenge to the authority of a figure that dominated medical thought for centuries. Similarly, in his philosophical work, al-Baghdadi questioned the uncritical acceptance of Avicenna's metaphysical system. Avicenna, a towering figure in Islamic philosophy, had synthesized Aristotelian thought with Islamic theology, creating a complex and influential philosophical framework. Al-Baghdadi, while acknowledging Avicenna's intellectual prowess, subjected his ideas to rigorous scrutiny. He identified inconsistencies, questioned assumptions, and proposed alternative interpretations, urging his readers to engage with Avicenna's work critically rather than accepting it as dogma. This spirit of critical inquiry permeated all aspects of al-Baghdadi's work. He approached every subject with a healthy skepticism, demanding evidence, seeking verification, and refusing to accept claims based solely on authority. This approach, rooted in tahqiq, is what defines his intellectual legacy. His enduring legacy, therefore, extends far beyond a collection of corrected anatomical details. It is a profound demonstration of a rigorous, critical empiricism flourishing within the Ayyubid intellectual world. It is a testament to the power of observation, the importance of questioning assumptions, and the value of independent thought. Al-Baghdadi's work challenges simplistic narratives of scientific history. He demonstrates that the pursuit of knowledge is not a linear progression, with Europe as the sole engine of progress. Instead, he reveals a vibrant intellectual tradition within the Islamic world, one that valued empirical observation, critical thinking, and the pursuit of truth, regardless of its source. He was influenced by the long tradition of Islamic scholarship that emphasized reason and observation, drawing inspiration from figures like al-Kindi and Ibn al-Haytham, who had previously championed empirical inquiry in their respective fields. Al-Kindi's emphasis on reason as a tool for understanding the world and Ibn al-Haytham's meticulous application of experimental methods in optics provided a foundation upon which al-Baghdadi could build his own critical approach. Al-Baghdadi, in turn, influenced subsequent generations of scholars within the Islamic world. His emphasis on tahqiq, and empirical observation encouraged others to question prevailing orthodoxies and to seek knowledge through direct experience. Scholars like Ibn al-Nafis, who challenged Galen's understanding of pulmonary circulation, can be seen as intellectual descendants of al-Baghdadi, carrying forward his commitment to critical inquiry and empirical verification. The absence of a timely Latin translation of Kitab al-Ifadah should not obscure the significance of al-Baghdadi's contributions. His work remains a valuable resource for understanding the history of medicine, the development of scientific thought, and the intellectual landscape of the medieval Islamic world. It is a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is a global endeavor, with contributions coming from diverse cultures and traditions. His legacy is not merely that of a foreigner, paving the way for later European scientists. It is the legacy of a scholar who embodied the spirit of critical inquiry, who championed empirical observation, and who challenged the uncritical acceptance of authority. It is a legacy that continues to inspire scholars and thinkers today, reminding us of the importance of questioning assumptions, verifying claims, and grounding our knowledge in direct experience of the world around us. The coherence of his intellectual project lies in this unwavering commitment to tahqiq, a commitment that transcends disciplinary boundaries and defines his enduring contribution to the history of thought.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.